Hello, dear friends, and a warm welcome to Unacademy, India's largest online learning platform. The session today is Crack CA Exams with us, where we are going to help you and give you a few tips with which you can make the tough CA course a little easier and help you crack the exams. A little about the educator, that is me. Hello, I'm Prathik Gupta. I'm a Bachelor of Commerce from Christ College, Bangalore. I'm also an associate member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, an associate member of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, and an associate member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. I have also done my LLB from Karnataka State Law University, and currently I'm a practicing chartered accountant. Prior to my practice, I had a stint with the industry and the Big Four audit firms, where I worked with S.R. Bartley Boy and Associates, that is an Indian member firm of Ernst & Young in the Audit and Assurance Department, and Ernst & Young in the Mergers and Acquisition Department, post which I worked with the Manipal Group and was also the corporate controller of a German subsidiary located in Frankfurt, Germany. Along with this, as a passion, I'm a visiting faculty in MBA institutes and an educator for CA students. Welcome to my session today. So, what do you get when you subscribe to the Unacademy platform? The four major important aspects that you achieve are: you get daily live classes wherein you can clear all your doubts, chat with the educator, and all this while the classes are going on a real-time basis. You get live tests and quizzes to evaluate your performance and to see how much you've understood and what are your areas of strength and improvement. The courses are structured in such a way that they are in line with the syllabus and give you the best and up-to-date information. And also, most importantly, you get unlimited access. That is, the subscription is not limited to a particular period or time. You can come back and watch your videos or your subscription content any time of the day at any hour. That's the biggest advantage. So I request all my viewers to go to your app store and download the Unacademy app and open yourself to the world of Unacademy and its resources. Here are the CA Foundation and Intermediate subscription charges offered by Unacademy. You can choose the package you like and select it and pay for it. Please do not forget to use the code Pratik to get an attractive discount on your subscription. Let's get started. Below are a few pointers or headlines that I'm going to cover today in our session that will help you crack the CA exams. Please remember, this list is not exhaustive but only indicative. There are various things that could be individually specific, which we will discuss in our future sessions. So let's get started. The points that we're going to talk about today are planning, time management, timetable, coaching classes, study method, break time, study material to be referred, and most importantly, your articleship training. Let's get started. The first and the most important point is planning. As the saying goes, failing to plan is planning to fail. Let me start off with a small story. There were two woodcutters in a village, and they often argued that who would cut a tree faster. So one day the village decided to have a competition to see which woodcutter cuts a tree faster. So the stage was set, both the woodcutters were ready with the tree and the axe in their hands, and the competition was about to begin. So get set go, the competition began, and the first woodcutter vigorously started hitting the axe on the tree, trying to cut it quickly, whereas the second one, to everyone's surprise, was busy sharpening his axe. Everyone was wondering what the second woodcutter was doing. So after about half an hour or 45 minutes, when the second woodcutter had spent a lot of time in sharpening his axe, he came back and started throwing his axe at the tree. To everyone's surprise, he cut the tree much faster than the first woodcutter. Now, why do you think this was possible? This was possible because he spent about 60 to 70% of his time in sharpening his axe, which was planning according to him, and then came back and cut the tree faster than the first woodcutter. So this was planning at its best. So let's come back to the topic. Planning is the key to success and right plan. So please remember, no work, no assignment, and nothing is complete without a proper plan. If you are working without a proper plan, you are riding in a dark tunnel and you do not know where you're heading. So please plan your work accordingly. Also remember, there is no alternative for hard work. There is no shortcut. And especially in the CA courses, definitely there is no shortcut. You need to work hard and you need to plan your work. Then you set your own target based on your capacity and expectation. Each individual has a different capacity and a different expectation. So according to your capacity and expectations, plan your work. Do not try to compete with others, but please compete with only yourself. Spend more time in sharpening your axe. The second important topic is time management. Again, the saying goes, time and tide wait for none. Please remember there is a right time to do everything and there is a right age to do everything. With due respect to everyone, when your age is towards the studies, when you are doing your studies, it is the best time for you to take up a professional course like a CA and finish it. Why? Because your body and your mind are already in tune with the matter and in a zone where whatever you study will get into your head. Once you leave studies, you get into work, you get into family life, you get busy. After that, to come back and study again for a tough CA course may not be very easy. So let's come back to the time management. In time management, what do? We allocate time to the subjects according to the course content of the subject. For example, you can break up your subjects into theory subjects and practical subjects, and focus and difficult subjects and the easy subjects. So you need to spend more time on the subjects that are practical and that are difficult. Your favorite subject might be something and you might be good at it. So please spend lesser time on that and compensate that time on a subject in which you're not good at or which requires a lot of practice and concepts. Please devote time for daily studies. Again, a CA course is not a course where you can just cramp in your studies in the last 2 weeks of your course. You need to constantly study, at least for some time every day, and keep in touch with your subject matter. Spend quality time studying, focus on quality and not quantity. This is something which I believe in very much. It's not the question of how many hours you sat on the desk and studied. It is how much you have studied in that time you spent on the desk. If you have sat on your desk for about 4 hours and completed just 10 pages, do you think that is quality studies? Well, I don't think so. Quality studies would be your 10 pages, do it in a matter of half an hour, 45 minutes, or as soon as possible, and move on with the other things. So time really does not matter when you're studying. It is the quality of the time spent in your studies that really matter. And one more important aspect which I have learned with experience is theory subjects. We all have a lot of theory subjects like law, audit, information technology, taxes. Please remember, when you read the theory subjects, you might often feel that once you turn about 20 or 30 pages in your book, you have forgotten everything that you've read. But remember, you have not forgotten it. It is stored in some corner or some part of your head, and it will come back when you really require it. So please focus on theory subjects as equally as well as on practical subjects. And then lastly, identify and focus on your strong time zone. By this, what do I mean? We can group people into two groups. One is the people who rise early, that means who get up early and start studying, and the other one who study late at night when the whole world is asleep and there's no one to disturb them. I was the person who studied late at night because there was no disturbance at that point and I couldn't get up in the morning to study. Unlike me, if you are a morning person and if you think that is the strongest time zone for you, in your strongest time zone, take up the subject that you're most weak at so that you grasp the most and make the most of your strong time zone. And in your not so strong time zone, you can take up a practical subject or a subject which you are not so bad at, or maybe you're good at. Let's move on. A timetable. Please remember, timetable also forms part of your planning exercise. You need to prepare a timetable and follow it to the maximum extent possible. I wouldn't say you need to follow it exactly because practically that may not be possible sometimes. So you need to prepare a timetable and follow it as much as possible. Identify your deviations from the timetable and reduce those deviations. Study regularly and consistently. Effective study is important. Like I said in my previous slide, it's not the number of hours that you have studied, but the amount of content that you've studied in that hours that matters. So quality is better than quantity. Let's move on. Coaching classes. First and foremost, I'd like to tell you that your CA course has a lot of subjects. So you may not require coaching for all the subjects. The subjects are broken into theory and practical. And you need to identify which subjects are your strong points, which subjects are not your so strong points. So please identify your subjects which are not so strong points and then identify a coaching class for those subjects and then attend it. Importantly, do not depend on coaching classes. Please remember, they are just indicative in nature. They will show you the path, but you need to actually go and study and make the most of those classes or what is taught in those classes. It is a professional course, so self-study and getting to the root of the subject is essential. Once you've taken up the CA course, you need to come out of your 12th standard or your graduation zone, wherein a common excuse what people had was, oh, this question was out of syllabus. Please remember, in the CA course, there is no question that is out of syllabus. You are expected to know everything, or at least know the concept of everything. So the concept of out of syllabus is out. You need to know almost everything. And it's a professional course, so a self-study model is very important, wherein you need to identify your strong points, your goals, and work accordingly. Gain mastery of the topic being covered in the classes by doing it seriously, doing additional work, practice properly when it is being taught, and give priority to learn our practical training, which we will cover in our next slides. Let's move on. The study method. This is another important slide, and most of the points I've mentioned here out of practical experience. I have used this when I cleared my exams about 14 or 15 years ago. Identify your strong time zones. There will be a lot of points here which I have discussed in the previous slides, so I will not spend more time on that, and I will spend more time on the points that I have not discussed earlier. Normally, most students tend to read only. Please remember, it has been scientifically proven that writing is equivalent to 3 times of reading. So wherever possible, get into the habit of writing. And in a CA exam, you need to get into the mode of writing, because your answers need to be in detail and as explained as possible. Another important point is, when you're studying, or whatever textbook you are studying, please remember, maybe a week or maybe a day or 2 days before your exams, it is not possible for you to read the entire textbook again. So for that, you can prepare notes and stick it at the appropriate places in your textbook or your notebook where you have created notes, so that you can quickly glance through the points, important points, just a day or a couple of days before your exams, and still feel that you have covered the entire syllabus again. Use target-based studies and time-based studies. Like I said earlier, quality is important than quantity. So it's not the number of hours that you've spent, it is the amount of content that you have covered in those hours that matter. There is an interesting concept and incentive that I used to give myself, which I will cover, or I will tell you at the end of this session. Notes can be in the form of separate sheets or within the reference book. Use memory techniques to memorize sections, case laws, and other important dates and numbers. At this point, I'd like to say there are a lot of subjects where there is sections and case laws and other important numbers, whereas I will advise you to remember the case laws and the content of the case laws, but it is really not mandatory to remember the sections. If you are good at remembering section numbers and the contents, then do so. But if you're not good at remembering section numbers, please do not quote wrong section numbers in your exams. Remember, you do not get extra marks for quoting the right sections, but you surely lose marks for quoting the wrong sections. So what is more important is to know the content of those sections and case laws and other important dates and numbers. Focus on understanding the contents of sections than simply remembering sections. Like I said, please get into the depth of things and start understanding concepts. We need to know what the section is, what the content of the section is, and how it is applicable in a real scenario with explanation. So you need to get into the depth of things. Let's move on. Break time. Now, we have spoken about planning, we've spoken about timetable, we've spoken about time management, we've spoken about study method, but please remember, your break time and time for yourself is also as important as you studying for the CA exam. You need to spend time on your hobbies, you need to spend time on your physical fitness, you need to spend time with your family and friends, and most importantly, you need to sleep well. Because in case you're mentally tired or you're fatigued, that will impact your exams and your exam preparation. There is a concept called as burnout. I don't know how many of you have heard of it, but a burnout simply means you reach a point wherein you are no longer interested in doing something. And remember, when you are religiously and dedicatedly studying for your CA exams, you will reach a point where you will have a burnout and you will feel like, oh, I have studied a lot and I need a break. At least for a couple of days, I cannot study. This happens with everyone. This may or may not happen with you. That depends on your capacity and your structure of doing things. So in case a burnout happens with you, do not worry. Take a break for a couple of days wherein you don't do anything and just spend time with your family, relax, rejuvenate, and rehabilitate. That will really help you. On the third day, you will come back as strong to do your studies for the CA course. study material to refer. Please remember, there is a lot of hype about this, that you need to use this book, you need to use for each subject, you need to use 4 books, 5 books, 6 books. I strongly disagree. When you join the CA course, you are given the study material for each and every subject, which includes a textbook, detailed textbook. That is good enough for a lot of subjects. But if you think that is not good enough for you, max to max, you can add another one standard textbook as a base book. Do not refer many books, as you will get confused, as different authors have different ways of putting across things and solving problems. So when you go to buy a book, please glance through all the books, and whichever book or author suits you, please pick up one maximum book in addition to your study material, practice manual, RTP, suggested answers given by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Like I said, do not refer too many books. Firstly, you will not even have the time to refer so many books when you prepare for your CA, and too many books are just going to confuse you and you will get lost in the process. Choose the reference book which is suitable to you and not purely based on someone else's judgment. Please remember, everyone's intellect and everyone's way of thinking is different. So you identify yours, identify the author whose style matches your thinking the most, and go ahead with that authors. Start e-learning lectures on the website. This is where Unacademy helps you out with lectures and content on your weak areas and areas where you require more attention. And the study material is downloadable, which wasn't there at my time, and now you have the privilege, whereas the CA study material is downloadable from the website, so you can also get a soft copy of it and study it in your leisure. Let's move on. The most important point and the last point for today is articleship. As we all know, the CA course involves 3 years of practical training, wherein a person or CA student is supposed to work under a practicing chartered accountant for 3 years, and that period is called as articleship training. In that training, he learns a lot of practical issues about direct taxes, accounting standards, service tax, company law, SEBI regulations, GST, and other laws and regulations depending on the clientele of the person he is working under. Well, maybe a lot of students or a lot of people think articleship is not important, but trust me when I say this, an articleship period is very important from you, not from the knowledge and the theory point of view, but from the practical point of view. A period of articleship, firstly, it is mandatory. You cannot avoid the articleship period. Secondly, you need to give your best effort at the articleship period, because that's where you get in your confidence from. The most amount of confidence in dealing with clients, talking to people, interacting with people. No textbook teaches you this, but an articleship training teaches this on the job. Understanding, taking orders from your seniors, taking instructions from your seniors, referring books, looking for solutions online, and then going and delivering the solutions. It gives you a different kind of a high. And once you're done with your articleship, until the time you clear your CA exams, your confidence level is at another level on the higher side. So please take your articleship very seriously, as it teaches you the practical aspects of the industry and people, and most importantly, it teaches you the people management skills that you will require once you become a professional. And last but not the least, please enjoy the journey of your CA course. It may be a difficult course, but the end result is really worth it. Thank you very much. This is Prathik Gupta signing off. Let's crack CA exams as soon as possible. Do not forget to use the code Prathik Gupta while making your Unacademy subscriptions. Thank you.